Hello there, and as usual, I'm Aaron from MyStankGamers, and welcome. So last week, we were messing around building ourselves some deployable outpost pods, and you guys really liked the concept so much that you wanted me to build a ship to drop that said outpost pod into play. And then you wanted me to take it one step further, and that was to build a place where I could both deploy, print, and create these outpost pods in a mass production based scale, and then on top of that having a way of loading them onto the ship and then taking it out into the field. So I'm going to show you some of the cool little features that I've started working on for this base. By far it is not complete, and I really hope that you guys have got some more ideas for this place, maybe some more machines, contraptions that will make equipping this ship with the pods a lot easier and getting it out to deploy them outposts. Now first of all, you're probably quite excited about seeing this. Yes, trees. There is some trees. I've added a tree modification on. But just like in Thunderbirds, this every time I see this, it makes me kind of giggle inside. We hit the button, and the trees tilt to the side so we can launch the ship. Very cool. But let's just go back down. Let's see if we can get a different perspective of that. So if I use my spectator camera for the minute, place the outside here, so you can see the trees are tilted, and it is right. The ship does not fit out unless you do it. So let's press that, and there you go, the trees fold up. So it really isn't that camouflage. And something that Tracy Island didn't really think about is the trees are in perfect rows. There's something rather suspicious about that. But anyway, that was just one of the cool little features. But we'll attempt to show you a few more. So the main factor of this was the ability to print these pods off very, very quickly. Now, one thing I did run into, let's actually lower down the contraption. So let's just make sure that's the weld on. That is the print button. So this has the very, very slow process of lowering these down. The reason for this is because when it actually welds this up, it needs to go really slowly. So let's actually just increase the speed ever so much of the print button. So let's put our velocity, instead of 1, let's put it up to there. So there we go. That should put it right on the edge of the parameters. Okay, so there we go. We've already started to weld up. So it's welded up that first little stage, and we just need to adjust that back to the original print setting. That was just a 0.1, I do believe. Let's just make sure that's right. Okay, and then we can reverse this setting, and slowly, as the welders retract, we actually print out a new outpost pod. And this got me thinking a little bit further. You could print different variations of the outpost pods, so you could have one for mining, one construction, one for just establishing an outpost in general. So there we go, that slowly prints the pod up. The only issue that does happen is it's up to the player then to manually fit the door on. So obviously you'd have to have this door either welded up separately or just use the printers to weld it on. But it was giving me some trouble, so I thought I'd save that to edit that a little bit after I've done this video. So there we go, it's nearly welded up now. Just got the roof to complete and the back wall. And once this is completed up, we've basically got a fully functional pod ready to go. So there we go, the last few steps. And what I've also done over here, you'll notice that these are on these cool little rail pulley system. Now, like in the Thunderbird's hangar, these pods could move back and forth. The only difference between this one and the Thunderbird's one is Thunderbird 2 actually was on stilts, so it could raise up and down, where in this one I've just gone with the basic idea, since still pistons, even though they said that they fixed, are a bit funky still. I don't want to really inside clang too much, so let's just reduce that. Let's turn our welders off, and there we go, we've got ourselves a little bit of a pod. Now, to move that into a position to actually use, we come over to this little panel here. Eventually I'm thinking about building a control room, maybe up there in the corner, where you'll be able to do all of this from a simple one button panel. But for the moment, as a proof of concept, we've got this. So let's just make sure all this works. Right, we've pressed that button, but that button doesn't seem to have done anything except push the ship slowly out of the hangar. That's kind of a bit worrying. Oh no, that was just a ramp button. This was me testing out the ramp button before to make sure I could deploy the ramps from the pods and then load things manually in. So let's actually close them ramps back up. Try not to catch too much. Oh, I hate that noise. It's horrible. Okay, so now we need to find our pistons. We need to use the pistons on the floor. So let's activate all of them at once. If you activate one at a time, it'll bring the actual pods to different points on the conveyor. So you can see the pods slide across so that this ship can easily align itself with them. We've got the pod without a door still there. So I believe it's all 3 pistons activated to centralize the middle one. But this just helps it align it with the door and stops you having to get too funky with moving this ship over to the 3D printing area. So for instance, if we take this 3D printed one off, we could then print ourselves out another one. The other concept that I was coming up with in my head was having an ability to weld or print onto each individual one of these pads. But that involved making myself like a gantry crane type welder, and that idea just went horribly wrong when it all started going to shit and everything was wobbling all over the place. So skipping forward a bit, what I've done is I've actually moved the ship into position above, and we're going to line up with pod 2. So just to use our gyroscopes, line everything up the best we can from a visual sort of perspective, and then bring it down. So let's adjust that forward. Now I'm a bit worried that there's a crate that I placed behind that I was messing around with that it might get caught on, but that might not be the case. Okay, perfect. Alright, so let's see if we can connect. Okay, we've connected. Perfect. So we're actually connected to the whole platform now, and we need to release the lower modules. So I'm just going to quickly cut and find the control panel and release the lower module. Right, so the lower module has now been released, and with that we should, if I've done everything right and we have enough clearance and Aaron's has done enough calculations, we've got a little bit of lag here because a lot is going on. We should be able to just slide the Thunderbird forward and then into position. We've got a slight little bit of ground clearance. We've got to be careful not to connect up our landing gears with the floor, or that would be a whole variety of other things. The door is very small. Yes, you could have a bigger door and have it more efficient. Oh, I think we've actually accidentally connected with the floor. Yes, we did. Let's slide ourselves forward into takeoff positions. We keep magnetizing ourselves to the floor. Not a great idea. Bring it through the gap there. And just stop that there for a second because we need to disembark. And bring ourselves into position. Perfect. That looks all good. We need to just activate the trees to fall down. Let's see if we can get a perspective from outside as we activate that though. So there's our ship ready for takeoff. And hit this one button. There we go. Trees come to the side. Lovely. Now back into the cockpit. Obviously if you had a few more friends to help you out with this online, it would be even more of a cool concept. I just love the trees moving to the side. I'm a simple man with simple needs. Okay, we've magnetized ourselves to the floor. Let's go forward. Let's try not to hit our rear sort of rotors, and we keep magnetizing. It'd probably be best actually just to turn off our rotors completely. Well, not our rotors, our landing gear, so we keep sticking to the deck. Okay, now we've cleared the hangar, and we can move and deploy this pod. So there we go. Let's get out of here. Lovely. Obviously, them trees could close up behind us if it was someone at the base to help us out there. That was just a little bit of a facility that I made to service this ship. I thought it'd be quite fun to share it with you. It's only quick. If you guys have got any great ideas, and on top of that, the challenge that I set for building these pods, or building a ship to actually transport them, is still going on. I'm delaying it to the end of the week so I can get some more guys' ships featured in it. Anyway, I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.